Boom. We are back in the house. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome on a Friday evening. Hope y'all are doing good. I certainly am. Into the Friday weekend. Into the work that never stops. How y'all doing? Come knocking down the doors. Hope you all had a good one, a good week. It's been a busy month, especially for the topic that we're going to be covering here tonight, part 3 of a series of lives that I'm doing covering the Dolton mayor, Tiffany Henyard. Lots and lots. It seems like every day there's a new turn in this story. It is a new turn. Let me get a sound check, mic check, type of 1 if we're coming in loud and clear. You can hear me real good. We got some folks knocking down the doors to get into the house. Rick's Funny Farm, welcome and good evening. Leonetta Young is in the building. Welcome. Tamika Ward is in the building. Welcome. Maureen Bishop is in the building. Kay is in the building. Ernestine Smith is in the building. The one and only, the critical smoker, my brother, how are you, is in the building. Critical smoker, out there working, putting in the work. I'm telling you. Thank you for being here, brother. Indigo. Rena is in the building. Good evening. Good evening. I wanted to jump right back on this. A lot has been going on in Dolton, in Thornton Township. How many of you have been following this story? Type of 2, how's that? Since 1 is good for a sound check, type of 2. How many of you have been following this story? This is a classic. Talk about starting 2024. It's been crazy. John Luna, my brother's in the building. Welcome, welcome. Don C is in the building. Okay, everybody's been following. Yeah, it's getting heavy. Tanya Flowers, welcome. This story has got more turns in it than a damn washer dryer. Every time you turn around, something new pops up. Every day, a little piece and another piece gets added on. What is to happen next? Oh, great. You're going to be live streaming the rally tomorrow, Critical Smoker. Great. I know it starts at 1 p.m. So, I think I'm subscribed. I'll just double check here. Because I know Burgundy Blue is going to be a part of that. I know Carol Wilson is going to be a part of that. I mean, there's going to be a lot of people that's going to be a part of that rally tomorrow at 1 p.m. And I have that on my community board, in fact. Let's see if I can tap into myself here, because I know I posted it either yesterday or today. I took it from you. Yeah, I did that. I certainly did that. Let me just share that right now. I certainly did that. Thank you for posting that, because when I saw it, I grabbed it right away. And I said, let me get that on my community bulletin board. I've been over at the Real Late Night Crew, which is also live now, talking with Miss Mary about tomorrow's event. But when I saw this, I said, let me get this posted, because I had asked him, Shay, if he had a flyer, and I would put it on my community bulletin board. And that's exactly what I did when I saw it. So thank you, Critical Smoker, for posting that. I grabbed it right away. All right, so a lot of you have been following this story, and you know it's going to be I hope and pray it's going to be a big turnout tomorrow. You'll be out there at 12:15. Okay. Okay. I'll be subscribing. Okay. John Luna says he's going to be subscribing to your Critical. Good, because we need as many people on top of this as possible. Give it more exposure. Give it more pressure. The more people, the greater the pressure in any story, because sometimes the news can only do but so much, and they give us a little dip and drop. But I have to say, WGN and Fox 32 have been just dropping bombs every time they come on and share with us what else they've learned about this particular story. And as you know, when I began doing this, covering this story, I said, well, what can I contribute? Well, you know, everybody's been covering this story. The Real Late Night Crew has been covering this story. Burgundy Blue Commentary has been covering this story. Hannibal is Hungry has been covering this story. O'Shea Duke Jackson has been covering this story. Go Political has been covering this story. Who else have I watched? My goodness. I mean, you know, there are a lot of good content creators out there giving exposure to this very important story, because we all live in communities, and we all have either villages or townships or city government, let's just say, operating in the same way. And so giving our due diligence to keep our eyes on this particular story also gives us due diligence to keep our eyes on where we live, who the politicians are that get into office, who's responsible for a lot of money and a lot of things that go on in those communities, especially economic development, population growth, you name it. Keeping our eyes on this and being a major part, because these are the people that we're voting into office. Once you cast your vote and give it to these people, you're giving them power to make decisions on your behalf as to how your community develops, what goes on in your community, what events, how police perform their law enforcement duties, public safety, okay, and the money, how they bring in money, what they do, what grants come into the area, and how they utilize those grants. Okay, I'm very active. I live upstate New York, so I'm very active in my particular community when it comes to that. So yeah, email it to me. Where's the bulletin board? I want to see what else is new. So I'm always on top of what's going on. If I want to be a part of the event, I just go, meet people, and then listen to how these people talk. Because character plays a very important part of any politician's role, especially when they get into office. And the last thing you want to see them do is flip-flop. Get in, say everything that you want to hear. They get voted in, they do their inauguration, they get into their first day of work, and then all of a sudden everything starts to, they just pan out. Slowly but surely, you begin to see something else develop. And with the story of Mayor Tiffany Henyard, this is one of those stories. And since you all have been following this particular story, I'm sure you found that out to be very, very true. Miss Justice, welcome. welcome. Miss Justice is in blue. She's moderating. She's always been here, helping hold down the fort. Thank you. Talana Nieves, welcome. Blessings from Mount Morris, New York. All right. Thank you for sharing the truth of what's going on in Dolton. You're welcome. You're welcome. And everybody, let me tell you, I got so much to cover. I will try not to hold you 4 hours, 5 hours. Okay. I want to try to, cut these lives down to a point to where they're digestible. It's just a lot of information. So with that, let's get into what's happening with what's been going on. In my last live, I talked to you about this young lady here. Was sworn in as mayor of Dolton, and the hopes that the people had in Dolton, allowing her to become mayor, is a blessing, especially for her being as young as she is, a single mother, and that day at her inauguration must have been a breathtaking event, in which it was, and here she is. A little bit of a summary of Tiffany Henyard, born June 18th, 1983, is an American politician currently serving as mayor of Dolton, Illinois since 2021, and as Dolton Township Supervisor since 2022. She's previously served 2 terms as a member of the Dolton Village Board of Trustees from 2013 through 2021. Henry won election as a trustee in 2013 and 2017 and elected mayor 2021. She was appointed supervisor in 2022. So you figure, okay, this young lady's got her hands full. Now, I saw how she got sworn in when she accepted the position as supervisor of Thornton Township. And it was a weird kind of vote. I think there are about 4 or 5 trustees that sit on the Thornton Township Board of Trustees. And it didn't take but maybe less than a minute for all of the trustees to vote her in. And she was excited. She acted like she won a beauty pageant or damn lotto, the way she was jumping around that night. And then she immediately took office shortly thereafter. For those of you just joining us, we're just getting started. John Luna says, well, let's remember she wasn't elected to the supervisor's position, the mayor's position she was elected to. Yes, exactly. Yeah, she was voted in as supervisor of Thornton Township. She ran a mayoral election for the village of Dolton. As this story unfolded and she got used to doing both jobs, how she does it is beyond me. The full-time supervisor of Thornton Township and mayor of Dolton. So when does she have time to become to work as the mayor of Dolton? She working long hours? She working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? Does she divide her week up into 2, or how does that work? Does anybody know if she's also full-time as mayor of Dolton? Anybody know? Because to juggle those 2 townships is incredible. Absolutely incredible. But what we have come to find out especially covering the information in my last two lives, is that she likes to spend money burning the midnight oil. Yeah, you kind of figure, because those jobs. We have a mayor here in upstate New York. Sort of like it's not like a mayor, but it's like a township supervisor. Population is about maybe about 60,000 or thereabout. And we have somewhat of a similar community type of municipality. And you go to the offices there and you get services, or you pay your bill and la-di-da. All right. So, and it's the same thing with Thornton Township. So to try to juggle two heavy positions like that, you kind of figure, where is the time going? So tonight we're just going to jump into this and try to find out, not only with time, but numbers. We're talking about a lot of money. Dolton, a population of about 21,000. Thornton Township's about 180,000, give or take. Could be 185,000. You got Dolton running on a $30 million budget. You've got Thornton Township running on a $50 million budget. I think it's higher than that. All of these numbers, so to speak, have come directly out of Tiffany Henyard's mouth during a number of interviews. She had an interview with Roland Martin on his podcast, where she told him that she was running a $33 million budget for Dolton. The township's budget wasn't a part of that conversation, but what she told him during that interview was extraordinary, because I've never seen anyone blatantly lie out their mouth about a foundation that she had created, which I thought was a good charitable foundation that she created for folks that suffer from cancer. And for her to say, no, she does not have anything to do with that charitable organization. She plays no major part in it, no major role. Don't know what they make, what they earn, what they spend, nothing. And I said, uh-oh, I think Dolton's got a problem. And that caught my curiosity to look into it further, to begin looking deep into how this story was unfolding. And sure enough, it's blowing my mind every single day I review this story. Not only does she like to spend money and lie about it, she wears it. She wears it any chance she gets, along with a private, personal security escort, which are police officers of Dolton. Special assignment, protect the mayor at all costs, so to speak. Anywhere she goes, they go. Only to find out that one of the officers, I believe the officer's name is Terry Young, pulled a paycheck, a 2-week paycheck, running at about 303 hours, made about a little over $13,000 that paycheck. And I'm going, there is definitely something wrong with that picture. And then I said, okay, John, I think you should take a look at this and start following the money. Because hell, I mean, even the mayor of New York, I mean, doesn't have all of the accolades and amenities that this particular mayor has even though New York, obviously New York City is huge compared to Dolton, but I mean, to shine it and show it like she's been doing and flaunting it at any chance is incredible. You know, for a person that makes about $48,000 a year as mayor, that's a rough estimate, and $224,000 as Thornton Township supervisor, you figure, okay, she makes a good purse, close to 300,000, give or take, a little over on the top. So yeah, she can go out shopping and dress well. Kind of figures she got the money. She's got the money. And I said, well, wait a minute. You know, the kind of money she's spending is what's got my head in a spin. She came to a Dolton board meeting looking like Nino Brown from the movie New Jack City. That was a pretty chill movie. But I said, wait a minute, she's going over the top. And over the top, yeah, she definitely is. She likes to go first class. She likes to be seen as first class. Along with the Dolton Police Department and Special Security, she likes to spend first class. And spend she does. And to a point to where every board meeting, since her taking office as a Dolton mayor, she's had arguments with the trustees. And in our last couple of lives, I've shared with you who those trustees are. And there are four of them: Trustee Belcher, Trustee Tammy Brown, we've got Jason House, and we've got Brittany Norwood. These are the key holders of her spending, so to speak, because it's outrageous. And meeting after meeting after meeting after meeting, she has belittled, she is just so condescending. She lacks communication skills, that's for sure. No doubt. And it's gotten to a point to where this month alone has been so much activity. They had to adjourn a meeting on April 1st. She had vetoed the board from investigating her and her position and her spending. She vetoed it. On the 1st of April, it was the shortest meeting that was ever held, that's on record, according to the town of Dolton on YouTube, that I've seen. And those four board trustees made a motion to adjourn the meeting and walked out. And walked out they did, because she was in violation of the Open Meetings Act. Had 40 chairs inside that meeting that night. There were literally at least nearly over 100 people, give or take maybe 150 people that went to that meeting, but only 40 got in, leaving people outside in the rain, in the cold, not being allowed to be a part of an open community meeting. And I said that was a violation. We talked about that. I also talked about other activities where people are filling out FOIA requests or trying to, submitting those FOIA requests only to find that they have not been processed until they started to pile up. Those people were not given the proper service. And then right after this meeting on April 1st, due to the deputy police chief's comment that he made, which I believe they made up, about a security threat that existed. And it was all a matter of safety, more so for the people inside the meeting than the people outside. There were more police presence inside this meeting than was outside, trying to console the crowd. So what the 4 trustees did was made a motion to adjourn the meeting, because that night they were going to override the mayor's veto to have her tail investigated, but that never took place. They never took care of the rest of the village's business that night and decided to leave, and leave they did, along with her encouraging them to leave, along with the deputy chief of police, and that's this guy here. Let's see if I can find his mug. This guy, Deputy Chief Lacey, told them all to leave, told the media to leave, everybody out. Meeting's over. And so they left. What does she do? She ended up complaining in front of the maybe one camera that was there, complaining about how the media don't tell the truth. And all this back and forth, and she was just gang-banging the media for not giving them good coverage. Meanwhile, they're capturing her on video. They're capturing the truth as to what is happening on video. And she doesn't seem to be aware of that. It's gotten to a point to where on April 8th, the board had a meeting scheduled. They didn't have it at the Dolton Hall where they normally have the trustee meetings. They had it at a different location. I think it's Lesterfield, something like that, and where they had more room and could accommodate a large number of people. They had well over, 200 people, 250 people there. And on April 8th, what they did was, obviously, they overrode the mayor's veto into having her tail investigated, and also appointed and voted in Lori Lightfoot, former mayor, the city of Chicago. And she was there, and she proudly accepted the appointment as special investigator at $400 an hour, with a cap of $30,000 for the first report at that time. Indigo, Lacey steals cars. Really? Oh, you got to get me some video. If there's video of that, I will show it. I got one to show you tonight that just took place about 4 days ago. It's going to blow your mind. I promise you it's going to blow your mind. Tanya Flowers, welcome. Anyway, they hire Lori Lightfoot to come in now. She's behind the scenes. She's moving quietly. Yet a lot of things are happening. In fact, the next thing we know, there's a lawsuit. A lawsuit pops out with 2 individuals filing the lawsuit as plaintiffs, and one of them being a Dolton police officer, Byron Miles, and a victim of a circumstance that blew my mind. And this is against the Village of Dolton and Thornton Townships, Andrew Holmes, and Mayor Tiffany Henyard. This takes place back on in the, I think it was May 26th of 2023, last year. And so this guy allegedly committed to me, a crime against another individual. I say it's a crime because a sexual assault is a crime, especially if you don't have consent. And in this case, he didn't have consent. And as the story unfolds in the lawsuit, she was allegedly drugged, taken back to his room, allegedly, and woke up the next morning in his bed, allegedly. There was a conversation he had with police officer Byron Miles, who went to Las Vegas on that trip with them, accompanying Henyard and several other people that went on that trip. And these guys spoke on the phone. They not only spoke on the phone, they FaceTimed on the phone. And Andrew Holmes allegedly showed through the phone to Officer Byron Miles who the woman was laying in the bed, moving her clothes around, showing different body parts. That's what the lawsuit that was filed said. And I said, oh, damn. Andrew Holmes. I go back 6.5 years to the Kanika Jenkins case, where he inserted himself in that particular case out in Rosemont, Illinois. Only to, of course, he stands for law and order. He stands for the honest guy, the one on the street with integrity, one who'll turn his own brother in to law enforcement. I said, this guy's a piece of freaking work. And so here you have it. You got this lawsuit, involves these two people, primaries, because when it comes to Tiffany Henyard, her being told about what happened once they got back to Dolton, told the woman, don't worry about it. Everything will be taken care of. I'll take care of everything. Don't worry about anything. Those words ring in another case that's also been filed against her. I'm a barbershop owner who wanted to open up a barbershop, but I don't want to get ahead of myself. Told her the same thing she told him. We'll take care of it. Anything you need, we'll help you out. Any resources you need, we'll make sure you get it. And then turned around and shortly thereafter, putting her on medical leave, forced medical leave, she gets a phone call or makes a phone call to check and see when she can come back. She wasn't feeling ill at that time, and she was told that she's been let go, terminated from her job. Terminated. Now she's out of a job. Now, what does she do? Tell the mayor what happened? Because in that report, it also said if this ever gets out, she would be ruined. She didn't want to have a scandal like that out there in the street amongst the people. So in speaking to Kamal Woods, I guess her boyfriend, her married boyfriend, and him consulting with her about it, made the decision to obviously talk to the deputy police chief, Lacey, about taking this guy off of Byron Miles off of special assignment, special security, and just demoting him to a patrol officer, getting him out the way, and firing the young lady who allegedly was assaulted by Andrew Holmes, allegedly. I gotta keep saying that because of YouTube. You get this course of behavior. April 8th, Lori Lightfoot steps on the scene. The next thing you know, boom, Andrew Holmes is involved, along with Tiffany Henyard, in a lawsuit. Okay, having secret meetings with a guy who happens to be the administrator, village administrator of Dolton, Keith Freeman. And you get to have conversations like that in little squirrel meetings that she calls them. And you get this buzz that Lori Lightfoot has now received because she's getting all of this information, folks. Hands down, bar none. She is getting every ounce from the time that Tiffany took office all the way up until now. That's what an investigator is there to do. I want to know her timeline, and that's what she's drawing right now. Everything. When the meetings occurred, who showed up, what was spoken about, what was agreed upon, what was tabled, who was there, everything. She's got a lot of work on her table. What bills were discussed, what bills were paid, what bills were tabled, everything. So she's working behind the scenes, putting together and connecting the dots. And that's not DOTTS either. I'll get to him later on. He's another piece of work. And thanks to the other content creators out there covering this particular story, this is a lot. This is a lot. And shout out to every single one of them. No sooner than what happens with Andrew Holmes and Tiffany Henyard now having a lawsuit filed against them, this guy shows up. The administrator, Keith Freeman. What's going on with him? Keith Freeman is a key to Dolton's problems. He's not only the key to Dolton's problems, he's also the key to Thornton Township's problems because he's municipal manager there in Thornton Township. I said, wait a minute. Hold on a second. As I began to look at how this story unfolded, I began to see something very strange. I began to see certain people in certain places at the same time. Typo 1, bear with me here because we're getting into the meat of tonight's live. Typo 1 in the chat if you also see certain people who are assigned in certain places at the same time. And let me break that down a little bit further. Tiffany Henyard's mayor of Dolton. She's also Thornton Township supervisor. One person, two places. Keith Freeman, administrator of Village of Dolton and municipal manager of Thornton Township. One person, two places. Stan Brown sits on the Dolton Board of Trustees and also works Thornton Township. William Moore sits as part of the administration. I think he is housing director or something like that for the town of Dolton. And he works in Thornton Township. I'm saying, wait a minute, what is this duality that's going on here? Did I miss anybody? Double dipping, that's right, John. Tanya Flowers, yes, it receives a big fat paycheck as well. Did I miss anybody? I want you to think. Do you see people who show up at the Dolton meetings also working in Thornton Township? Why is that? Why is that? And we'll get into it. We'll get into it. And shortly thereafter, we're at April 8th. We got Andrew Holmes and Tiffany Henyard's got a lawsuit. And all of a sudden, on the 16th, I said, would you believe that? He has a lawsuit, a federal lawsuit. And hence, this story now takes a different turn. This is a personal bankruptcy, federal lawsuit against this guy, who happens to be the administrator of Dolton Township. It's the one that knows how the money is working, where the money is going, who's getting paid, who's waiting to get paid, and who didn't get paid. This guy is in the numbers. Hold on a minute. If he's in the numbers in Dolton Village, he's also working in Thornton Township. And he tells these people once he files bankruptcy, that he only works one job, and it's at Thornton Township. And they turn around and said, well, are you sure? He said, yeah, I'm sure. I work there. I should know. Let me show you something here, because we're getting into it. John Kraft. John Kraft is a reporter for, I think it's Illinois Leaks. The Mr. Freeman. He files this bankruptcy January 3rd of 2024. He files it. The lawsuit comes out this month. This guy, obviously, is an investigative reporter, sends him an email. I received your bankruptcy filing and notice you listed Thornton Township as an employer, but did not list the village of Dolton. I have copies of the payroll for Thornton Township and the village of Dolton, and it appears you are still employed by the village and getting paid, albeit without taxes being taken out of your check. Is there any legitimate reason you did not disclose your income from Dolton on your bankruptcy petition? ? Thanks, John Kraft. Cue the truth. Do you think Keith Freeman responded to John Kraft? Just answer in the chat. Do you think he responded to John Kraft's inquiry about his filings? Now watch this. We're cueing the truth tonight. Keith was also administrator for Tiffany Cares Foundation. That's right, John. Until they were ordered to stop soliciting donations by the Attorney General's office. Correct. That'll be a hard no. Okay, John. Rake's Funny Farm said, nope, he didn't respond. Her boyfriend Kamal is also on the board of Tiffany. Yep. Mea culpa. You're starting to see those names. It's important to watch how people move. So in this case, John writes him again. I know this is tiny. Well, wait a minute. Let me see if I can do this. I want you to see it. I want you to see it. I don't want to put, let me take this down. Let's go here. Can you all see my screen? Type of 1. Type of 1. Let me see if I can get into my file here. There we go. There it is. There we go. Blow it up here. Can you all see that? Can you see it a little bit better? I have to squint. Get your magnifying glasses out, folks. There we go. Bankruptcy request for comment. You got to see this now. Not clearly, but that's okay if you can explain it. Okay. All right. So, Mr. Keith Freeman and Attorney Schindler, please advise if the information found in the below draft excerpts of an article I intend to publish is incorrect or if I missed something. The only employment found in this petition is for Thornton Township, but you, Freeman, are also employed by the village of Dolton. By my calculations, your estimated monthly income exceeds $15,000, but you claim it's much less in the petition. Please advise if this is correct also. Do you plan on amending the petition? Thanks in advance, John Crabb, Edgar County Watchdogs. You think Keith Freeman answered? Busted. No, Keith Freeman didn't answer. So the article, and he sent him a copy of what he wrote. According to the recent bankruptcy filings of Keith Freeman, the village manager of Dolton, Illinois, and employee of Thornton Township, Freeman's only employee is Thornton Township. We emailed Freeman at both the township and the village email addresses seeking clarification of his filing and asking if it was a mistake. He has not responded. According to the January 29, 2024 two-week village payroll, Freeman's payroll for this pay period was $3,846.15 with no Social Security number or Medicare taken out of the check. The monthly income would be around $7,692.30. This data came from a whistleblower, and we are unable to verify it at this time since the village refuses to provide these records to us under the Freedom of Information Act. We do believe it to be accurate. Freeman per pay period income from Thornton Township is $2,692.32. According to the township's December 2023 payroll. Monthly would be around $5,384.64. This data came from a whistleblower. There's a key word in this document. Whistleblower, somebody talking. We're unable to verify at this time since we have not received the data under the Freedom of Information Act. Whistleblower Freedom of Information Act. Key words here. And public release of it by the township is basically non-existent. We do believe it to be accurate. However, according to Schedule 1, your income on this on his petition for Chapter 7 bankruptcy filed on January 3rd, 2024, his sole employment is Thornton Township as municipality manager. His estimated monthly income from that one and only job is listed at $5,833.36. He did list other monthly income as reimbursements in the amount of $2,345, with the total monthly income take home listed at $7,167.67. Freeman was required to file an additional sheet for any additional job he held, but none were filed. Under another schedule for his Chapter 7 filing, Freeman listed his total monthly income as $8,283.36. This bankruptcy filing could be problematic, and we urge Mr. Freeman to amend it to reflect his actual income from all sources. Oh, John, could it be? Could it be? Where did I go? There we go. You see, I'm keeping a file on these people. Could it be? There's a whistleblower in the house. Somebody is talking, because now it's telling us exactly what direction this case is moving in. Let's take a look at something here, because the news tells us something too. Y'all ready to go to work? Type a 1, because we're ready to go to work. That's why I'm on tonight. Let's go. WGN9. And I know many of you may have seen these news clippings since they were hot off the press, but we have to continue to include them here in order to add context to the content. Let's go.
As WGN Investigates was first to report today, a top aide to Dolton Mayor Tiffany Henyard has been indicted for bankruptcy fraud. It comes amid ongoing questions about Henyard's spending and leadership.
And legal experts say it could be the first sign that the feds are trying to get people to share what they know about potential government corruption in the South suburbs.
Let's be smarter than that. This is not just the price is right.
Despite sitting next to Dolton Mayor Tiffany Henyard at countless meetings, the feds allege Keith Freeman not only failed to report his income from the village, he actively lied about it. Freeman is Henyard's top aide in both Dolton and Thornton Township. As part of a personal bankruptcy case, he was required to report his earnings. But this indictment on one count of bankruptcy fraud says Freeman falsely stated he only worked for the township and made just over $99,000 last year. Prosecutors say he tried to hide his Dolton earnings via a pass-through company, which brought his income to $195,000 last year. They further allege the village of Robbins has a claim against Freeman for more than $90,000 he took without authorization from a previous post he held as village administrator there.
This is long.
Wait a minute. Did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that?
Post he held as village administrator from a previous post he held as village administrator there.
Village of Robbins, $90,396 unauthorized salary. We're getting into the character of this man tonight. As you follow the numbers and as we build this content, context in the body of the case, this is going to reveal exactly who Keith Freeman is and how he thinks and what his actions are and what they have always been. Here he's coming from Village of Robins, and I'm also doing research on that. Find out when his employment there was and for how long. I think it was about 4 years, but I'm still digging into that. And he also held a numbers position there. He had access to money there. And they got him for unauthorized use of it, which I'm sure that they filed a judgment claim against him for that amount. Hence, that's the reason why the news got it. They don't hold up freedom of information requests there in Robbins. That's where this came from.
This is long coming. If a person can lie on their own financials, what do you think they're doing for the village?
Nobody is untouchable. That's what I want to say. Nobody is untouchable. So if this is just the first domino to all of them falling, let it happen.
Dude, Jay Bradley, how you feeling?
Freeman is a key player in our reporting on Tiffany Henyard because of how many roles he plays for her. In addition to the Dolton and Township jobs, Freeman also, for a time, was the registered agent of the Tiffany Henyard Cares Foundation.
And I got something to add to the Tiffany Cares Foundation as well. Now we're going to do some map work tonight too. This guy's a piece of work, but let's continue.
But there's no foundation in the state of Illinois moving like we moving and shaking and moving like we doing. Right? That's right.
While Henyard's namesake charity claims to help cancer patients, WGN Investigates has reported it received most of its early money from taxpayers and has failed to file required paperwork showing how it spends its money.
How come you don't respond to my emails?
There you go. There you go. Huh? There you go. That's all you're getting from me. That's all you're getting from me today.
How come the charity hasn't filed its financial disclosures about how money was spent?
How would I know that? That's a good question, though.
See how I blew him off? How would I know that? That's a good question. This is his character. I'm not telling you squat. That's my business and for you to find out.
For months, WGN Investigates has reported on questionable conduct on Henyard's watch, including unexplained travel, including first-class airfare and fine dining on the taxpayer's dime. Credit card statements show Freeman was on many of the trips, including one.
Now, I want a whole lot. I want to go back to that paperwork. See this paperwork? Y'all see the paperwork? Who do you think has got that right now? Let me see if you're all with me. Who would have that paperwork right now? This very moment. Where are those e-bikes? Who would have all this paperwork right now sitting in front of them? Tamika Ward says the IRS. Love you, Tamika. Anybody else? Anybody else? Come on, people, put it together. This way you'll see exactly where this case is going. Nobody else? Nobody? Somebody knows something. Somebody knows something. Y'all don't know nothing? Come on now, somebody knows something. The feds, okay, good. Miss Justice says the courts, good. Wishful thinking. The FBI, good. Who else? Who else? Come on, come on, dig it out, folks. Who's got all this paperwork? All right, I'll give you a hint. Hey, everybody like, okay, scratching their head. Come on, John. Give it up. Give it up, John. The suspense is killing me. John Luna says both the Dolton Township and the village of Dolton were charged for that same stuff. Do you think the custodian of record has that paperwork? Type of 1 for yes, 2 for no. Gracie. Love you, Gracie. Lori Lightfoot's got it. Yep. Leonetta Young says the paper shredder has got it. Well, not according to this news article here. You got the paperwork right in front of your face. They're showing you the paperwork they do have. Delgado would have copies of it, hopefully. Yes. Salute, Shankrock. My brother Shank is in the building, content creator. I miss you, brother. I've been busy over here. I know you've been busy on your channel too. Lori Lightfoot has got copies of this. The custodian of record has got copies of this. The FBI has got copy of this. The IRS has got copy of this. He filed his bankruptcy in court. How sloppy can a criminal be when they got so much on their mind? They'll have the tendency to forget because they're doing underhanded shit. Underhanded stuff. Let's continue.
Trips, including one to Las Vegas, where another Henyard aide now claims a Dolton trustee sexually assaulted her. Others accuse Henyard of using Freeman and other government employees to retaliate against her opponents. Court watchers say the feds could use the bankruptcy charge against Freeman to get him to cooperate in other investigations.
When the feds are looking at a larger scheme or relationship, oftentimes what they have to do is go for people who are below or the lower part of the food chain, get them for something, charge them with something, because that's the leverage they need to be able to sit down with that person and say, now, if you help us, life might be good for you. If you don't help us, you're in a lot of trouble. Now, what do you want to do?
So I said 1 down, about 25 more to go.
No comment this afternoon from Keith Freeman. His boss, Tiffany Henyard, said through a spokesperson that she's aware of the indictment but won't comment due to the ongoing investigation. So we don't know whether taxpayers will continue paying Freeman's 2 salaries despite today's bankruptcy fraud charge.
I would think that they would know something to say something now, especially both Dolton and Thornton townships, now that this news has broke. This is a bad dude. And if he's doing that on his personal income bankruptcy filing, what could he be doing in Dolton and Thornton townships? Would you allow someone who's filed bankruptcy for the feds to catch on and then indict him with bankruptcy fraud? Federal charges, bankruptcy fraud. Wait a minute, don't he work in Dolton? Wait a minute, don't he work in Thornton? And he's handling our money? Yes, he is. What should they do about it? What could they do about it? They can pressure the mayor to get him out of there. Board of Trustees and the residents together can put a heavy pressure on the mayor. If the mayor fails to do her job, then that pressure is going to double up on her as this case begins to continue to grow. You see, will she do it? Knowing Tiffany? No. She's going to fight like she's been doing. Will he step down? No. Birds of a feather flock together. They're the same bird on different levels. He's doing it on one level, she's doing it at another. Now, here's my question. Does she know? Does Tiffany Henyard know if he is doing some dipping in Dolton and Thornton Township? Does she know that? If she does, she's in cahoots. But what if she doesn't? Now that this bankruptcy fraud has come out, obviously she's got no comment because there's an ongoing investigation. Who in the hell else would she talk to? Do you think Tiffany trusts Keith Freeman now? Or could continue to trust Keith Freeman now? What if he's caused such financial damage, she's unaware of it because she's not listening to anyone but her cronies? Think about that. Think about the pressure that's on her right now. And she's in, currently right now, she's in Springfield, Illinois at a conference meeting, according to, I think it's one of the politicians there, Thaddeus something. Blue Devil G is in the building. Yeah, let's get down to the next piece. Let's see, we did that one. All right, so he's done. Well, let's get down to the next piece. Because here, just recently, something else happened right behind this. And this was last Friday, folks.
This is wonderful news. We've been waiting on this for some time, and now finally, someone has heard us.
Jubilation in South Suburban Dolton after federal agents serve a pair of subpoenas on Village Hall, part of what appears to be a blossoming corruption investigation into Dolton's mayor, Tiffany Henyard.
Today, Fox 32 obtained copies of those two subpoenas, which offer something of a roadmap to that federal investigation. Our Dane Placco has more.
Would you like to look at them?
Absolutely.
We showed Dolton trustee Tammy Brown the subpoenas that were delivered by 4 FBI agents at Dolton Village Hall Friday afternoon. Directed to the Village of Dolton's custodian of records.
There you go. Directed toward the village's custodian of records. That's the key to this case. That is the key. Custodian of records. NorCal girl, what is up? What it do? What it do? Welcome. Custodian of records. Let's continue, because that is who this subpoena is for. And that is to give testimony to a grand jury that's been sitting since November of last year.
They're headlined "Subpoena to Testify Before a Grand Jury." And that's significant because it's our first official confirmation that a federal grand jury has been impaneled to investigate allegations of rampant corruption in Dolton. In fact, the subpoena discloses they began meeting in November of last year.
There you go. Special November 2023 grand jury convened since November of last year. These folks have been sitting there watching everything that they've been doing. Now, here's the thing. Let's get to that part. Let's get to that part because that's the part that they already got.
Last year.
Oh my God. Someone has heard our cry. Finally, someone has heard the residents of Dolton, and they're actually going to do something about it now.
One of the subpoenas asks for personnel and disciplinary files for 29 Dolton employees. Trustee Brown reviewed the
29. Let's go back to that list. In the subpoena now, the woman said and 25 more to go. Let's add a couple more to people in this subpoena, employees involved in this subpoena. You think they got a lot of leads to talk to? You got plenty of people to talk to, especially the custodian of record, who goes next month on May 13th at 9:30 a.m. to testify in front of a grand jury all the finances pertaining to this financial corruption of Dolton Township. Because the custodian of record knows everything about where the numbers are. Since Henyard's tenure as mayor of Dolton, all the board meetings, all the special meetings, all the bills, all the receipts, those that were denied, those that went unpaid. Put it together, folks. There's a big gap right now of 7 months since last year, September, is the last time the Board of Trustees had physical numbers to find out and know exactly where the budget is, right? October, missing. November, missing. December, missing. January, missing. February, missing. March, missing. We're into April, the bottom end of April, and that is missing. There's your gap. Now think about it. The bills come to the board, they get approved for payment. A lot of the bills that keep showing up were already approved since last year in May. Gives you another month. Gives you a couple more months than that. Think about 10 months, maybe even 11 months time gap of the Board of Trustees, the mayor, the administrative of Dolton, going back and forth as to bills being approved and bills not paid, especially the big bills that are not paid. And those big bills are not paid. Well, where's the money? Who's in charge of signing the checks for payment to the vendors? Whether it's tree cutting, pavement repairs, any of the services that they render. And now you can't see the bills? Think about not seeing your bills for at least 11 months and they go unpaid. Where will you be? That's what the feds see. So now They get to ask one person, bring the receipts, and let's take a look at how big that box of time is that bills went unpaid. Because if you look there, you'll see where all this money spending happens to unfold. That's why they don't want to show you the budget of what's being spent, what's coming in, what's being spent, what's been approved, what's not been approved, and what's still unpaid. They're going to find out. Let's continue. 29 names on this list. Somebody going to tell?
Employees. Trustee Brown reviewed the list of names and told us they all have one thing in common.
All of these people are loyal to the mayor. Every last one of them are loyal to the mayor.
Ask you a couple questions.
The other subpoena asks for information about Village Administrator Keith Freeman, Mayor Henyard's top deputy, who you may remember tried to block us from talking to the mayor when we did a story about her police security detail last year.
Why do you need so many officers, details, or your security?
The subpoena focusing on Freeman asks for payments, tax.
There it is. The second subpoena is for Keith Freeman. This is what they already have. All these names of all these companies or front companies under Keith Freeman's name. Now, why do you think they have that? Well, they've been doing their homework since last year, putting all that together for a federal subpoena to come about, and they got it. See, how you doing, brother Hugh? Mungus is in the building. They have a federal subpoena now, knowing all these companies under his name, and he's operating out of Dolton and Thornton townships. Now, why would he have all these companies when he didn't even put Dolton down as an employer on his bankruptcy filing? There are 9 other companies this dude works for. Where does he have the time to actually show up and do a job? Are these physical locations? I did my research, folks. I did my research. So this is information that they already have. All they want is the paperwork to fill in the gaps. And if any of the paperwork has any of these names on them, through the village of Dolton and Thornton Township, this dude is done. This is called money laundering. Sending out work, which he is a part of, to do as administrator of Dolton, and municipal manager, send out work to contractors to do a job. Contractors send him the bill. The bill goes before the supervisor or the mayor to the board of trustees. They approve it or disapprove it. Now, the trustees, according to the rules, they have to approve contractors for work before the job is done, not after. But this is what Tiffany did. She switched it. Let's just give them the work. Let them send us the bill. We'll get the board to approve it. And these guys are sitting there and saying, well, what's this? Where did this come from? Why are we getting such a big bill from this company? Hence, the door is open now for any type of skimming, bill creation. Hence, if any one of these bills came from any one of these 9 companies that Freeman owns, runs under an LLC, they're going to figure this stuff out in a heartbeat. So who do you get to tell? Who gets to tell that story? Well, the custodian of records, when they go next month on May 13th to testify in front of the grand jury. Have you seen any one of these bills come across you? Yeah, I recognize that name and that name and that name. And yeah, a bunch of them came from that name. And dude's done. Let's continue.
Tax records, and any contracts given to a list of companies, some of which are associated with Freeman, according to a search of LLC records.
It would be my somewhat educated guess that there have been allegations raised by third parties.
Hold it. I gotta say hello to my lady love. Miss Lady Love Lounge Talk is in the building. Much love to you. Welcome. Thank you for joining me. I miss you. And she over there chuckling too. Oh, John, shut up and continue. I'm just loving your live. I hear you. Definitely welcome. Let me back this up. Let me scrub this because this is okay. This is a former FBI agent. Listen carefully to what he's saying because then you'll know what all the paperwork is all about.
Records.
It would be my somewhat educated guess that there have been allegations raised by third parties.
Allegations raised by third parties. We already know that there is a whistleblower in the bankruptcy fraud filing, right? So there is a whistleblower coming from a third party.
That those businesses, or at least some of them, were sham businesses. They didn't really exist. They provided no legitimate services. And he was submitting phony invoices to the village, which were being paid.
Former FBI agent Ross Wright.
You want to hear that?
Legitimate services. And he was submitting phony invoices to the village, which were being paid. Submitting phony invoices to the village, which were being paid. Legitimate services. And he was submitting phony invoices to the village, which were being paid.
Former FBI agent Ross Rice says even though the subpoenas require Dolton to turn over the records to the grand jury on May 13th, it's likely the investigation is nowhere near wrapping up.
You have two separate subpoenas for two different types of records. And that means it's what I would call a multifaceted or a multi-pronged investigation.
Last week, Freeman was charged with bankruptcy fraud for allegedly underreporting his income at Dolton and Thornton Township by about $100,000. Trustees who've been battling Henyard say after seeing Freeman all over the federal subpoenas, it's time for him to go.
Termination, not suspension, pending investigation. The investigation is ongoing. Termination. Immediately.
The only response to the subpoenas from Mayor Henyard so far came on social media over the weekend when she posted, quote, "To all you clowns that's a part of the circus, stop chasing fake news." In Dolton, Dane Placco, Fox 32 Chicago.
Fake news, huh? Fake news, that's all she got to say. Fake news. Everybody lying on me. Why y'all lying? Gonna stop your lying. John Luna, at one board meeting, Tiffany wanted the amount for one bill was split up into 4 checks, and he thought that they had set up some type of payment plan, and he wasn't okay with that. Wasn't okay with that, yeah. Why y'all lying on me? Y'all better stop y'all lying. Lying. How's that, Tiffany? Lying. Can you say that? Lying, not lying. Don't lie on me. Well, where do you want me to lay? Anyway, very interesting. Follow the numbers. Follow the numbers, and they'll never lie on you. They'll never lie on you. Let's take a look. Something muy importante, because we're going to find out who's lying. Well, here you have it. Dolton, Illinois. And this was written April 25th, 2024, just yesterday. Grand jury seeking records related to Dolton Administrator Keith Freeman. Hey, see that list? John Luna says, I'm a numbers guy, so am I, John. I worked 15 years as a housing counselor under a HUD grant. Did housing counseling, first-time home buying, foreclosure, prevention counseling, mortgage default counseling. All we did was dig into the complaints coming from the courts, from the banks, to try to sit down with homeowners, walk them through it, and try to get some kind of a workout option process going for them with the bank. Difficult work, but is definitely a rewarding type of work, spiritually rewarding when you can help someone prevent a home foreclosure and keep them in it according to their budget. So I start to take a look at the paperwork. This is what got me involved on my channel. You know, there's paperwork in Kanika's case. There was paperwork in all the cases that I've done on my channel. So here we got paperwork. Anyway, getting back to it. Dolton, Illinois is becoming known worldwide due to the antics of its mayor, Tiffany Henyard. Federal government is actively moving forward in their criminal investigation of the matter in this small community on the south side of Chicago. As covered in these articles, the village administrator, Keith Freeman, was indicted for bankruptcy fraud based on a recent request for the records from the grand jury, and that's a 23-GJ-507. It appears Freeman is a primary target in the investigation. A request for records to the village of Dolton raises a lot of questions that only time may provide the answers to. Now, let's take a look. They've done some digging. All of these names up here on this subpoena has been dug out. Collab Inc. with an EIN prefix to it, which is an employee identification number if you have an LLC or sole proprietorship, not registered in the Secretary of State's database. Collab Leaders with an EIN number, dissolved January 13th of 2023, linked to Collab Equity crowdfunding. See if I can get this to move. Keith Freeman, LLC, involuntarily dissolved September 9th, 2022. So that doesn't exist. Heirs to Heaven, involuntarily dissolved 9/9/2022. We dissolved that one too. Freeman Ventures Ltd. dissolved 8/25/2017. So that doesn't exist. Linked to Collab Equity Crowdfunding, Inc. Rabble Raisers, Inc. Not registered in the state secretary database. Collab Equity Crowding, dissolved January 13th, 2023. Collab Equity Investment Security, not registered in the Secretary of State's database. Government Staffing Advisors, Inc. Incorporated. Oh, okay. Got a corporation here. July 12th, 2023, just last year. Let's take a look at this. Defunct, 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 defunct. Corporation, government staffing advisors. Incorporated date, July 12, 2023. Duration, annual report filing none. And you got information, agent information, Keith Freeman. Got an address here. 9560 140th. Let me just do something real quick. Make sure. I'm digging you out tonight, Keith. I am digging you out tonight. Let me see. That brings up another window. Y'all can't see what I'm looking at. Okay. Y'all cannot see what I'm looking at. 9560 140th. Da, 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 da. 9560. Okay. Okay, let's add it. There we go. Here we go. Okay, I'm just setting up my next. Thank you all for being patient. I'm just setting up my next tablet for you. So here they've done the digging. If all of these are defunct, so to speak, and he has this Government Staffing Advisors, Inc. still active, yet not registered, what is he doing with it? Reviewing Freeman's bankruptcy filing, it appears he has not disclosed information related to some of the above businesses, which, if accurate, could lead to additional legal problems for this Dolton official. We'll continue to monitor activity in the Dolton criminal investigation and will update you as more information becomes available. Interesting. Okay, I got that. Got that. Okay, now you're getting to the good stuff here. Getting to the good stuff. What do I want to show you next to tie this in? Okay, so we got that, got that, got that. Let's do this. Let's take a look at something. Got to go to my trusted friend. You know who my trusted friend is? One that don't let me down. We got to go here right now. You know, y'all know John Q. I like to find stuff. I like to see stuff so people don't lie. Eddie June, Jay, Edie, I'm sorry. Edie, how you doing? Welcome. All right, so let's take a look. Let's find out where things are. Let's take a trip. The village of Dolton Township. Let's see what we can find here. We got Thornton Township over here. We got Dolton up here, not very far from each other. Let's zoom in. Hey, we found a spot. What spot could this be? Well, let's take a look. Washington Avenue, Martin Luther King Jr. Drive. Hey, guess where we are, folks? We're in Dolton. Tiffany Henyard's hood, the hood mare, the hen yard, or the hen in the yard, in the hood, in the yard hood. Anyway, this is her office. She likes her name nice and big so people can see it. This is the municipal building over here. And people pay their bills. This is the payment center. This is where they got locked out during the April 1st board meeting. Couldn't get in because they shortened the room, put 42 seats in there, and allowed 42 people out of nearly over 150 that went to that meeting on April 1st, where all this stuff started this month. This is the building they go to. And as soon as you get through these doors, the hall is right here. Right there. Now I want to show you something. I'm sure you can see that. I went to a document. Let me see if this is it. I think this is it. Yes, this is it. And did a business search. The business search comes up with Keith Freeman running this Tiffany Henyard's Cares Foundation as a corporation. You notice up top over there where it says status, not in good standing. I showed you this in the last live. But what I also noticed is down below, Keith Freeman was the agent. Most likely removed his name. Somebody else may be on that document now, but when we first caught it, his name was there. Also, I noticed something about this document. Document's address is 14121 Martin Luther King Jr. Drive in Dolton. So obviously I put it into my map. You know where this 14121 in Dolton is? Let's see. We got 14122 here, and that's the Municipal Payment Center, right? And we're looking for 14121. So how far could it be? I'll tell you what, not very far, because all you got to do, we got 14122. Hey, right across the street, one 14121. Hence, Tiffany Henyard's Care Foundation right across the street. Right across the street. You mean to tell me that Mayor Tiffany Henyard told Roland Martin on his show, I don't know anything about that. I don't handle it. I got nothing to do with it. People should do their research and stop lying on me. Yet, right across the street from her office, she don't know nothing about this building over here. In fact, this building was brought up in a Dolton Trust meeting, and they were looking for a requested rehabilitation license / permit to have this building rehabbed because it was undervalued in the community, and they wanted to bring it back and put it on the tax roll. Tiffany Henyard's Cares Foundation operates out of this building. Yet she knows nothing about it. So if you know nothing about it, then you don't know anything about talking during a Board of Trustee meeting on a live Zoom. You know nothing about. Thank you. Y'all got me going now. You know nothing about this building, Tiffany, huh? Well, why are you looking to rehab it then? Why were you looking to get a license permit to begin renovating this building? Yet, by you and Keith not filing the proper paperwork to the Attorney General's office, they stopped you and said, stop soliciting for funds or else we're coming down there to kick your ass. And this fell off the table. I think you better not get that rehabilitation license. I don't think we're going to need it. Because if we send them the paperwork, then they'll know what we're doing. The Attorney General's office, they'll know what we're doing. Let's just scratch that whole project. Do y'all hear about the Tiffany's Care Foundation as of today? Do y'all know? Is there any information about that foundation out there right now as we speak? Yes or no? Just type a yes or type a no. I'll tell the answer. There is none. They took it off the table. The agent's name is Victor Osake, and apparently he's with the Cornerstone. I bet the foundation is only collecting and not giving. I bet you they are too. And if they're doing anything under a different LLC, and that LLC happens to be attached to Keith Freeman, that's a done deal. That's a done deal. So yeah, I just found this very interesting. Very interesting. Let's take a look at something else here. All right, so we got Dolton, we got that. Where are we going next? Oh, I know where we're going. I know exactly where we're going. We're going here. Further south at 2015 Ridge Road. I got to take this down for a second. Going to an entire screen share here. We found one of his companies. This one. Cornerstone is supposedly her PR firm she hired. Okay, John, thank you. Y'all see this? CBPI. DJ Dave says FBI IRS got people making more than TIFF to go through issues of this sort. John Q is good, but they're great at their jobs. Well, thank you. Even put me in line with them. But yeah, they are good at their jobs. But this is one of the companies. Him and his wife ran a business. This is the business. This is the business online. Novelties and Merry Christmas cards, sorority pearls, tote bags, Sigma Gamma Rho wristwatches, all kinds of stuff in here. As a business. Down below, CBPI 2015 Ridge Road, Homewood, Illinois. Their operating hours are from Tuesday through Friday, 12 to 6, Saturdays, 12 p.m. to 3, closed Sundays, and Monday by appointment only, closed to the public. Why? Why is that? And switch up here. Let's go to street level. We got 2011 here to the left. Let's see if I can bring this down. Thank you. And then we got, go a little further down here. This UPS truck pissed me off by being in the way. Look at that. Perfectly in the way of the place I want to see. And the place I want to show you is this place right here. 2015 is that shop. And it is that shop because, as you can see, the numbers here is 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. And they got a buzzer outside the door for the appointments to come in on Monday. Mia Culpa says Keith Freeman removed his name from the foundation a while ago. The proper paperwork was submitted. Okay. This used to be a bookstore, but this is where Keith Freeman and his wife own a business under this particular LLC. Going back, let's see where we are now. I said 9560, 140th Court, right? 9560, 140th Court. You know which one that is? That is, find it. According to the paperwork, going down to the last item, Government Staffing Advisors, Inc. This very last one at the bottom of the list, all in caps. Know where that is? That's right here. That's where we found it. Got a parking lot and everything. You know what we're going to do, right? Let me entertain you. Let me get right there. Let's go down and take a look. Hey, we're here. Now, what does this look like to you? What does this look like to you? Anybody, work with me tonight. This looked like a residential area to me. A bunch of apartments. I don't know. Do you see that? I do. The parking lot. Typical of any multi-unit apartment complex. Very typical. Get out of there. Let's see if I can. Oh, I can. Go this way. Extremely typical. I don't see any businesses around here, do you? So he writes this Government Staffing Advisors, Inc. to a location that's here. And that location let me straighten it out again. This is where this listing is. 9560 Orland Park. It's an apartment complex. He's running an LLC out of an apartment complex. So you figure if the FBI came to this location tracking government staffing advisors here, you kind of figured they knew that there was something going on with this guy. And then they tracked the rest of it and found out that some were listed with the state, some were dissolved, some were involuntarily dissolved, all kinds of things. But this is the mindset of this guy. The mindset. Now, I wanted to ask you, how many of you have gone over and read? How many of you have gone over and read his bankruptcy fraud filing already? Type of 1. It is a nice area. Gotta say that much. It's a very nice area. How many have read this? Because they got him on paper here. There is no doubt. No doubt. Good, Gracie. I got this sent to me by Shamina Wright, my behind-the-scenes assistant. She's not here in the chat. Much love to her. I ask her for anything, she gets it to me. Now, I read this and I said, oh man, okay, Dolton's not on here, Thornton's on here. Missing $100,000 of income on a bankruptcy filing. Don't you think they're going to run your Social Security number through the database and find out otherwise through the IRS? That's why this didn't drop, I believe, until after the tax filing date of April 15th. Boom. His indictment came out the 16th. Perfect time. They were just sitting there waiting and then dropped it on the 16th. of this month. Yeah, with Nate the lawyer. Okay, Indigo. Yeah, Nate did a great job. Spent 1 hour going over this, and he was just cracking up. He was, yeah, he couldn't believe how this guy filed a fraud bankruptcy filing. He could not believe it. Hid this money over here, closed the bank account over here, reopened a different bank account here under an LLC here, and then used that account for private funds. Also had his Dolton income go into that BMO account. Oh, I was like, is this guy, is he thinking? And yet he holds two important positions in two different places. One is an administrator and the other is a municipality manager. And he's doing this. Now I'm going to ask you another question. How many of you were able to lay your eyes on the actual bankruptcy filing documents? Type of 1. How many of you have seen exactly how he filed his bankruptcy and with whom he filed it and how much he paid for it? John Luna, okay. Absolutely. I mean, for him to sit down and to have filed it the way he did it blew my mind. 67 pages. Blew my mind. Gracie did on Shawan Burns' platform. Okay, yeah, Shawan Burns is another content creator. She did a magnificent job before he even got to this point. Before he was indicted, she went back. I think it was in either January or February. She broke down everything she could find on this dude. When he filed it, because he filed it January 3rd. She did a good job. And much love goes out to her. I know she put a lot of work into finding that and to reviewing it, because you can't take a look at this paperwork once and you get a gist of it. But if you go over it again and again, you begin to get into his mindset to say, what in the hell were you thinking? What did your wife say to you when you did this? You got 2 kids, you're married. Does she know that you were going to do this? File for bankruptcy, married, but yet he filed it separately under his own income because it was his money, not hers, type shit. So he went ahead and filed it that way. I say that to do this. Shawan actually broke the story about his criminal past. He was actually extradited from Florida to where he had a case at whenever he was younger. Does she know his She has to, right? Gracie, is that filing? Does she know all his? Type that word over again, Gracie. One more again. His wife. No, not that part. Does she, his wife, know all his shenanigans? Okay. That's a better word. Okay. I can deal with that. I don't know. What else did I want to show you? Well, one thing for sure, he showed up in court in front of the judge just this week. They talked about it with his attorney. I saw this picture. I was laughing. I said, wait a minute. They had a sketch artist in there. Why didn't they just have somebody take a picture? But rules are rules. So we got them outside. I said, no, my God, I like this picture better. But the sketch artist did a good job, I have to say, because he looks just like that. Now you're looking at him, see, sideways. Damn good. Now he's facing you. Damn good. And this guy, this Joshua Herman, attorney, specializes in RICO, criminal defense, all this stuff. He's got the credentials. I think when he saw the indictment and the court filing for it, he said to himself, don't worry about it, Keith. I can get you off. You got all this damn money anyway. You got 2 jobs? Yeah, I got 2 jobs. Oh, okay. You don't have that Thornton job, just that one job, right? Well, no. I forgot to put down the Dolton. You forgot to put it down. That's good. That's good. We can use that as your defense. You didn't have the paperwork. You didn't have the W-2 from Dolton, right? We could say, okay, yeah, we can work with that. Get in front of the federal court, and we'll bust it down. Don't worry about it. We'll give him hell. Get in where you fit in. And what else? You were under duress? You were drunk that night? Oh, we can say so many things. You had a fight with your wife, and she told you no, and you said, well, I got to do it this way because that's the only way we're going to make ends meet, and this, that, and the other thing. In the actual bankruptcy filing, he pays child support. He pays child support. He filed it that way, which only left him about $94 to live off of. And I said, no, that's a lie. Well, where's the rest of your expenses? And yet this lawyer thinks that they got a chance. They can fight it. They could probably get him less time or get it down to where he just pays a big fine over time and get a judgment. Meanwhile, does this guy look fed? This lawyer? He looks like what Keith Freeman used to look like at the damn board meetings. Yeah, anything they throw at us, we'll be able to handle. The first time I've ever been in court for bankruptcy filing, and all the press is outside. I said, yeah, you got to win it there, Keith. He'll bring you through this. He'll bring you through. And with the time element of these subpoenas coming down that got slapped on Dolton, the way it did is impeccable timing. Absolutely impeccable timing. 2 subpoenas served. I believe others to follow. There are others to follow. Some of the others are going to come out of the 29 listed in the subpoena. Some people are going to talk with the feds, as they should, and some people may decline. Some people may lawyer up. This is just warming up. But one thing for sure, the custodian of record, which is the Dolton clerk, I think her name is Allison Key. If she is the custodian of record for Dolton, she has a May 13th appointment date to go in front of the grand jury and give testimony to the documents that they have specified her to bring for a time period. And if any of those documents have any of these names on them, these LLCs, these corporations, these businesses, these sole proprietorships on them, and they know that Keith was dipping here and doing things there. I said, well, why does the trustees and the administration have such a problem just going over bills? Well, one doesn't want to show them the bills. Why? For 7 months. Why? When you can't run a government, I mean, you're changing the whole time clock here. Not unless y'all doing something that you don't want us to see. And then Tiffany gets mad. She goes on a 10-minute rant about it's y'all fault. We're here too long, it's y'all fault. Y'all always bringing up this mess. Talking like an irate mother to a 5-year-old. I said, you couldn't have me sitting as a trustee. You couldn't, because I would have beat the hell out of her within my own way. I'm not a manhandler, but I would have given her a tongue lashing back. Reminds me of a couple of things Richard Pryor said at one time, you know. But yeah, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Said, no, I can't. I'm out. I'm out. I have to excuse myself. That's right. Walk. Because y'all lying on me. Well, let's find out how far it is. They'll find out. Especially when they know that there are 2 signatories there. Authorized signatories. Village clerk and Mayor Tiffany Henyard. On the account. But what does she do is that she goes out of her way and says, well, I'll just go ahead and start signing checks. Write these checks out. Pay the vendors that we've fallen behind. Let's start to get them paid. And we'll just use my signature. This was a check that was sent out April 8th of 2022. And this is to a construction company, K5 Construction. They do the pavement in Dolton. Alleyways and roadways and potholes and things of that nature. You come across 9/26 of 2022, that September month, under the Tiffany Cares Foundation, $10,000 came out of Thornton Township, voted on by the trustees to send. Yet down here, you've got casino tours. John's Catering Company, $37,350. What did they cater? William R. Wheeler, $975. July, August, $2,275. GIS benefits, okay. Restoration Ministries. 9/21/2022, Restoration Ministries. 2,500. Dixmoor Vikings, military, Dixmoor Vikings. I'm still doing my research. I'm looking these names up. Jocelyn King, $156.24. M&J's Breakfast House for $632.50. Who would be eating all $632.50 at a breakfast house? John, will you give them the business? Unbelievable. Visa card. We have a $200,000 credit line. I'm trying to find that number. $2,000 credit line. Payments up out of that was at least 10,000 that came out of this. 10 and change, slightly higher. But I'm going, wait a minute. Old National Bank. Crossing accounts. They're dipping into both Dolton and Thornton to pay off a lot of these things that we see. Well, we did this in our last live. State of Illinois, domestic corporation under the Tiffany Henyard Foundation. We've got President William Moore, Director William Moore. That's 2 positions, President and Director. And then Kamal Woods as directors. So you got 2 directors. 1 person, 2 positions, once again. And William Moore also works for Thornton Township. He also sits in the administrative seat in Dolton. Just connect the dots in the names. And the writing address, including street and number of the corporation's principal office, was at Martin Luther King Drive address that I took you to, which they have that scratched out on this document. But yet, according to Kwame Raoul, Attorney General of the city of Chicago, the state of Illinois, he says, stop the foundations, stop soliciting, or else we're coming down there and take care of the business with you. And then again, what's up with these FOIA requests that you're not processing? And you're violating the Open Meeting Act. What's going on with y'all? What is going on with y'all? He did that February 9th of 2024. And it was all in regards to them not processing FOIAs. I read this in my last live. We got Keith Freeman's bankruptcy filings here under fraud. Now the feds are involved. You can't close the door on them because you let them in. They stopped by last Friday, served you 2 subpoenas to get the ball rolling. And here you turned around. You turned right around no sooner than anything else. and did the unthinkable. But here is a 62-page bankruptcy filing. I just want to show you just a very specific part of this. 67-page, excuse me. Oh, God. 9560140 court. Where do you live? Same place that LLC, that government staffing advisors company works out of, right? Chapter 7 bankruptcy. I will pay the entire fee when I file my petition. Have you filed for bankruptcy within the last 8 years? No. Are any bankruptcy cases pending or being filed by a spouse who is not filing, in this case, with you, or by a business partner, or by affiliate? No. Do you rent your residence? Yes. Has your landlord obtained an eviction judgment against you? No. Are you a sole proprietor of any full or part-time business? No. Y'all see this, right? You what? This has been a great live stream, John Q. I've got to get to bed. I have to work tomorrow. 4 a.m. comes pretty quick and fast. John Q. and everyone else in the chat, good night and be safe. You too, John Luna. Thank you for dropping by, bro. We'll continue. Tiffany thought she had a $200,000 credit line, but she thought $200,000 every month. Yeah, she had access to $2,000 every month. She's claiming it as her money. Marley 13 is in the building. Thank you, John. Are you filing Chapter 11 of the Bankruptcy Code? And are you a small business debtor or a debtor as defined by 11 USC Code? No. Do you own or have any property that poses or is alleged to pose a threat to imminent identifiable hazard? No. Property and hazard over here. Tell the court whether you have received a briefing about credit counseling. He has. I've received a briefing from an approved credit counseling agency within the 180 days before I filed this bankruptcy petition, and I received a certificate of completion. So they covered and educated this man as to how to file your bankruptcy. This is Keith's mindset now. He went to educate himself and also paid them a $25 fee for the education for him to get a certificate of completion to be given to the preparer of this document to prove that he is going to prepare this with integrity, honesty, and to the best of his knowledge and ability to do so. Oh, thank you, John. I know my phone was acting up over here, but you know me, when I get into my work, I've got a timeline I try to stay on. All right. A couple of other things. What kind of debts do you have? Are your debts primarily consumer debts? He says yes. Are you filing under Chapter 7? He says yes. Do you estimate that after exempt property is included, administrative expenses are paid, that funds will be available for distribution to secure creditors? He says no. How many creditors do you estimate that you owe? He says 1 through 49. How much do you estimate your assets to be worth? from 0 to 50,000. How much do you estimate your liabilities to be? Between $100,000 and $500,000. Mea culpa. Thank you for being here. You have yourself a good night too. Appreciate your support. But yeah, just a couple of things. Summary of your assets and liabilities and certain statistical information. Copy line. Total personal property from Schedule A and B. He was having an issue with these schedules here. But he filled out this document. Unsecured claims. There it is. $174,763.20. Let me show you something. Let me go down this. I'm not gonna go down this whole thing. Oh, gee, I'm gonna take all night. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Let me show you where his problem was. Big time. Big time. Expenses. Creditors who have unsecured claims. Illinois Department of Revenue was one of them for $4,910. IRS priority debt, $3,737. IRS priority debt again, $12,270. Okay, he owes the government. Here's his list of debts. Affirm Inc., $929. American Express, $5,627. Another American Express, $6,200. And this is in Florida. Bridgecrest, $1. Must have been for maybe a half a stick of chewing gum. Debt owed. Cane & Wiener, $251. Sherman Oaks, California. Capital One, $2,521. Capital One, Salt Lake City. Capital One again, Salt Lake City, $5,522. Capital One again, Salt Lake City, $8,308. Capital One, Salt Lake City, $8,743. CarMax Auto Finance, $1. It's probably for the other half of the chewing gum. Credit Collection Services, $446. Discover Bank, $4,095, Salt Lake City. Equifax, nothing. Experian, nothing. Probably pulled a credit report. Greater Chicago Finance, $7,980. Here's Keith Freeman, y'all, on paper. Illinois State Toll Highway Authority, $150. Got a damn ticket. See? Fines. Got a fine. Running a toll. IRS non-priority again, $70,269. Jefferson Capital System, $16,750. Unknown credit extension. Lending Point LLC, nothing there. Personal loan. Georgia. Rodzilla Properties, $7,293. Debt owed. Rodzilla Properties, probably rent. Small Business Administrator, oh Lord, $1,100. Debt owed. Birmingham, Alabama. TD Bank USA, Target Credit, $1,451. Credit card. TransUnion, nothing. Another credit report was pulled. Upgrade Inc., $2,830, San Francisco, California, credit card. Verizon Wireless, $3,379, unknown credit extension, Dallas, Texas. Y'all getting a picture of who Keith Freeman is? Clerk, 5th Municipal Division. Lawsuit. Britt Gaines, PC, Bankruptcy Department. Another one. DuPage County Circuit Court. Taxes and certain other debt you owe the government, $16,007. For a grand total of $153. Excuse me, $153,000, 846.20. A lot of money, Keith. You make $100,000 in Dolton. Lord knows you make maybe even half of that at Thornton Township. You go in here in January on the 3rd of this year and file this. Here it is. Debtor 1, municipality manager, Thornton Township. That's it. And you put that there. That's what he did. And filed it. And filed it. No other expenses. And this is what I have to live on, $94.72. Subtract your monthly expenses from your monthly income and the result of your monthly net income. This is all I've got. Oh, you poor boo-boo. After you subtract all this, this is what I got left. That's what he put down here, folks. And he signed it. What is your current marital status? Married. During the last 3 years, have you lived anywhere else other than where you live now? Yes. And he lives someplace else. You kind of figure, you wonder what his wife is thinking. He changed the whole game with her. Capital One Collections, Greater Chicago Finance Collections. Then there's a 400-40 West 147th Street, LLC versus Keith Freeman. That's collections. All 3 pending cases here. He wanted to clean all this up and out the way so he could be free and clear of all of his money coming to him directly, with no creditors chasing him for none of this money that you see right here. Bridgecrest was for a 2018 Maserati. Value of the property was $12,155. CarMax Auto Finance for a 2019 Lincoln. $37,057. Greater Chicago Finance, wage garnishment, $4,859. Property was garnished. So he's got garnishments in here too, attacking his check when he gets paid. He figures, if I file for bankruptcy, I can wipe all of my unsecured, all of this stuff off the table, and I can have my money. Yeah, what about living within your means? Yeah, Miss Justice. Think about it. But I just wanted to give you just an idea of how he filed this. He went to credit counseling, paid the $25. He went to the law firm, paid them $1,838 to file this thing. Gives me a headache. Okay. Whew. That's Keith Freeman, y'all. That's him on paper. Oh, and here's what I wanted to show you. Get ready for this. You know what I found? 3 days ago. I was able to find something very interesting. Y'all want to see something? I don't know if y'all saw this before. I think I have this open. This was taken April 22nd, 4 days ago. 3 to 4, well, the night of the 22nd at 5:49 and 45 p.m. Check this out. Before you, this seems to be some kind of a party or a festival, and you have where is it? Deputy Chief Lacey, Andrew Holmes, and Tiffany Henyard at a house festival dancing to this crazy music.
This track is for them player haters lying on they dick. Rockin' punks for a bitch. If the bitch wanna fuck me.
That's all I'm going to play. They out there having a good time with taxpayers' money. Yeah, Gerasi wouldn't file it for him. Yes. Miss Justice over there dancing. I wasn't going to play the whole thing. But that's what they're doing right now. They out there partying without a care in the world on taxpayer dollars. Deputy Chief Lacey, Andrew Holmes, Tiffany Henyard, and possibly some of her other cronies. Unreal. And then again, we can't forget about guys like him who got hired by Tiffany, got paid a very good salary. That Lavelle Redmond, second one from the bottom up, $31,200. Unbelievable. And we can't forget this guy kind of runs the security over at the Thornton Township. Now, you tell me, does he look hungry? I was just asking, does he look hungry? This is the same guy that tried to stop Long Island audit. Same guy who tried to stop the Terminator auditor. I think that's his name. Every time somebody would come in with a camera, this is the biggest thing they got over there. So they did use the right person. Kind of like try to put a block on everything and everybody coming through the door. But yeah, he got a good job. You figure, how many of y'all would love to see him run? Type of one. How many of y'all would love to see how fast he would run? Try to catch somebody in the parking lot. Do you think you would be disappointed? I'd have my popcorn soda out there. Go ahead, man. Let's see what you can do. I can't take it no more. Another guy, keep your eyes open for. This guy, Michael Smith. Hannibal is Hungry, I believe, did a good breakdown on him. Some of his background. Shawan Burns did the same. Not such a good fellow. Shows up at both Dolton and Thornton Township board meetings, and he lives in Riverdale. And he's all up in these people's business. And he was a Mad Hatter at Thornton Township. Their annual meeting also took place this month. And he's yelling at Christopher Gonzalez. Did you go to Las Vegas? Did you go to Las Vegas? Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Trying to convict the man in a public forum. And Stephanie Wiederman, I think her name is, who was moderating the Thornton Township meeting, tried to infer and insinuate that she didn't have a diploma. Wait a minute. You're getting into some people's personal information. How would you know that? How would you know something like that? Somebody leaking your personnel file in his ear? Who would you think that is? Who would you think that might be? Could it be him? Or could it be her? To try to belittle her in front of everyone. And try to piss off Christopher Gonzalez because he's not part of the Thornton Township board crew that goes along with Tiffany. But yeah, keep your eye on the bouncing ball on this case and watch how this guy moves, because he's another one in two different places doing the same thing. Michael Smith, we're on board. We are definitely know something about you. I'm digging out some information now, but yeah, Hannibal is Hungry did a great job. Shawan Burns did a good job breaking down some background on him. Not very good, especially when it comes to children. Not very good at all. So Tiffany is the kind of person that's just surrounding herself with cronies, people that she can control, people that she can confide in, people that she can pay money to that they would get no place else. And there would be only one thing that they would be capable of doing, being with her. Just one. What could that be? Number one, you don't bite the hand that feeds you. And number two, the reason why she pays them what she does is because they'll fight for her. They're not going to let that good money get from their hands. They'd rather stand there and show up to meetings and plant themselves where they could and try to go against the opposition. The trustees, the board, anybody. That's the characters that I see in this story. And Tiffany encourages it. And the reason why she encourages it is because she has money power to encourage it. That's why she's fighting the boards of trustees. She's fighting to keep those dollars in her pocket. That's why she gets so irate and starts going on a rant. Her rant is no more than a defense mechanism to try to ward them off from getting even closer. But when you have Lori Lightfoot in the background, now you've got the FBI all up in your face. You've got Keith Freeman under federal indictment. You've got Andrew Holmes in a criminal lawsuit, in a civil lawsuit, not criminal yet, but that civil lawsuit can turn criminal if the Las Vegas, Nevada people come through with their information. And I'm sure that the FBI is keyed into that too. And everything that's been going on with this case. Like I said in the beginning, folks, when you have the feds in the house, they're not at the door anymore. They're in the house. They're inside. They served papers. That's saying a lot. That's saying a lot. One more item I wanted to go over with you. It is from one of the content creators that I enjoy watching following this case. I just wanted to share a little bit of one of his latest videos here tonight, and it's from Hannibal is Hungry. I think he did a great job following up on another content creator's content regarding the spending, that the horrendous spending that's going on in Dolton. Take a look. This is part of where the numbers are. Let's go to work.
So when you go through this, the total amount spent on tree cutting, $573,000 for 1 month of services. Not one of these 7 companies has a contract with the village. This is a no-bid fraud scam started by Tiffany Henyard. There's actually a really...
Shout out to Hannibal is Hungry. I've been following him for the last couple of months. He's done excellent, excellent work in getting these breakdowns. He's covered the money, he's covered the numbers, he's covered the people. And I just wanted to give him a highlight for tonight's live. I think he's doing a sensational job. He's from Brooklyn, New York, my hometown. So he's downstate, I'm upstate. We're both working out of New York, covering this story. But I just wanted to, give him a highlight shout out tonight. And hopefully he'll be able to check out the live and find out that he's getting a shout out from John Q.
Really, really good video. I want you guys to take a look at real quick. It's from Go Political. This video is doing extremely well. I don't know if you guys have checked it out, with some of these great videos breaking down the psychology, the way she manipulates.
Go Political is the other content creator, which this video is based off of. excellent content from this particular content creator and broke down a possible scam that may be blowing open very, very soon.
Manipulates, and also like this video right here where he was able to break down this Dolton tree trimming scam. I didn't even know there was such thing that you have a tree trimming scam. Like, wait, what? 76,000 views in 11 hours. He's almost at 2,000 subscribers. Please subscribe to his channel. The guy has great work and he's doing a lot of awesome things. So this situation, which he uncovered, is outrageous. So let me try to summarize it real quick. There's kickbacks from the contracts alleging that the mayor, Tiffany Henyard of Dolton, is orchestrating a tree trimming scam involving no bid contracts where she's personally benefiting from these kickbacks. The claim is that the city spends $300,000 to $400,000 monthly on unnecessary tree trimming that isn't budgeted, suggesting that the financial mismanagement and obviously corruption, $300,000 to $400,000 a month on tree trimming. That's not budgeted. And then she's also accused of manipulating the process to secure these no bid contracts while distracting the trustees and the residents with her nonsense, her yelling and her talking over everybody and just manipulating the entire situation. And it just shows like there's a lack of transparency. There's a lack of due process with these contract rewards, with many trustees and residents reportedly unaware of these contracts until they're due for payment. So it's outrageous.
And the thing about that too, in addition to what Hannibal said, is the fact that they have these vendors waiting to be paid. They got a lot of vendors that's waiting to be paid since last year. Now, who does that? You tell them to go to work, do the job, pay the people. You tell the trustees to pay the people. They approve the work to be done at the board. And then yet you're still telling them to pay the people on an approved assignment that's already taken off the table. And her administration is the one responsible for paying these vendors. That's the element of distraction. And that's a main technique she uses, is the art of mental distraction. Once she knows you're getting close to her hub and what she could be possibly doing, that's when she lights up and goes on rants and starts to spray all over the place. And you pick up the vibe. What you running from? What are you running from? And we all know what she's running from, the truth.
And I hope you guys check out his channel. I want to play a little bit of the video so you have an idea of what he's talking about.
Mayor Tiffany Henyard's tree trimming racket is about to be exposed. So how does she get away with billing out hundreds of thousands of dollars for no bid contracts? And how does she benefit? You asked for it, and now you're going to get it.
We spending roughly between $300,000 and $400,000 every month or every other month on tree trimming. It makes no sense. It's not budgeted anywhere. It's not about beautification. If you're gonna cut the trees, cut the dead trees, trim the trees. But you making this a project of beauty just to be like, they said no. They said no. It's not fair to us.
When you see that, and now we know through all of the information that we've seen and analyzed and all the trouble that they're currently in, they're spending all that kind of money. You know the money was going into the pockets of her and her cronies. It's pretty obvious, but let's listen to more what Carlton has to say about this one.
But what is really going on here? And why do we see meeting after meeting the same discussion coming from the trustees complaining about these no bid contracts?
Thank you, Ms. Justice, for dropping Hannibal's link to his channel and Go Political on his channel. Yeah, definitely subscribe to these two channels. I highly recommend it. You walk away every single time with something you've learned about this case.
No one is against getting trees cut. The problem is when we see, and that's why I say, I know you said that we do RFPs. Yes, the engineer department does RFPs, but anyone who's attended these meetings haven't heard of an RFP being presented in a whole entire year and a half. So when we ask, we're asking.
This is Trustee Brittany Norwood speaking at the mic.
Because it's a concern. When I look at this warrant list, we have $352,105 on tree trimming, just on this warrant list. But yet we have John Pros who come to us and say, well, he's giving you a quote of $2.6 million to cut every tree down in the village. So these are real concerns.
What kind of shady nonsense is this? Like
2.6 million for trees? Did you hear that number? $2.6 million. Huh.
Like, what is going on? So I checked out this video and I'm thinking, like, how is this supposed to be done properly? Which, because Henyard doesn't do anything properly. It's always either shady or just completely incompetent. So a proper contracting process is first, obviously, the need identification. A public entity identifies a need, such as tree trimming, defines the scope of the work required. So not trimming them and then cutting them doesn't make any sense. 1 month, like, it's a racket. There must be some kind of scam going on, right? Then they talked about the RFP, is the request for proposal. So our RFP is issued publicly, inviting qualified contractors to submit their bids. Remember, qualified contractors, not shady people who only like Henyard. This documents what exactly is required and the evaluation criteria and how the bids should be submitted. This is how it's supposed to work. Then there's public bidding. The bidding is open, the process, right? It's open to all qualified bidders to ensure no preferential treatment. Now, this is the complete opposite of everything that Henyard believes in. Everything is preferential treatment if you like her. And if you can do something for her, she'll do something for you. That's how it works. You have to show love and loyalty, and she bless you with property, with contracts, or whatever. So, but
and that's what they call quid pro quo. You do something for me, I do something for you.
The way it's supposed to happen when you have qualified bidders to ensure there's no preferential treatment, this stage is crucial for transparency. Again, she's allergic to that, and competition. Then there's evaluation of the bids. The bids are evaluated based on criteria such as cost, experience, capability. Does this shit make sense? The process is documented and often involves a committee to ensure that you can defend the decisions. They're not biased. And if someone wanted to question the decisions, it's everything documented so it doesn't like people don't know what they're talking about or just looking to try to get away with things. And then the contract is rewarded to the most qualified bidder who meets all those criteria. And then this is another really important.
And a qualified bidder happens to be the one who wins the contract. Okay. And in retrospect to that, it's the lowest qualified bidder who gets the contract. That's why it has to go in front of the board. They have to select and choose who the contractors are, what the bid amounts are, what scope of work has to be accomplished, timeline for it, and then the payment schedule that goes with it. All that is avoided because Tiffany jumps the gun, picks the contractors themselves, sends them out to work. They work, submit their invoices or bills back to her office. She brings them in front of the board, and they're sitting up there saying, who's this? What's this? And why are we looking at this amount to pay when we haven't been involved in the approval process or had public discussion about it? That's how she's getting away with it. Then she flips it, turns it around, and goes on a 10-minute, 15-minute, sometimes even a 30-minute rant, just as a distraction to change the subject.
A really important part that, of course, Henyard is not going to do. Throughout the entire contract period, there is oversight to ensure compliance with these terms. So the payments are tied to milestones, just like when you contract for something. You know, you make sure that it's getting done at a certain time, a certain quality. You have inspections to make sure that the work is being done, is completed properly. That's how it's supposed to go. Now, what do you think? You think Henyard is actually doing that? You think?
Now, Tiffany here, this girl, Tiffany here is sitting as a board of trustees when she was a trustee, sitting there looking at the contractor. him telling the story that he hasn't been paid, and this is her response.
You think she's doing any of those steps?
Somebody going to jail.
We can watch a little bit more, but I would guess and say she did not follow any of those steps.
Where's the tree list? Where's the tree list? But when we ask about the tree list, there's a big stink. And all we're doing is asking questions. That's why we have discussion.
So here we have exposed the scam. Now, just as Trustee Belcher said, why would you pay a contractor to trim a tree only to go back to that same tree and cut it down instead of cutting it down in the first place? Well, it's an opportunity to double dip and make money twice on the same tree, because the real motivation is get as many no-bid contracts that you can, pay these contractors to go do the work and skim the money.
You hear that? It's probably in the millions. Like, this is a huge scam for a very small village. So we have some records about the amount of money and the different amount of companies that Henyard is using for this tree trimming, tree removal thing. So let me check this. Let me fix this real quick for you guys. Hold on a second. Okay. So you see all these companies, and mind you, none of these companies were approved by the board. She has not put any kind of contract bidding up. Everything is no bid contracts. So you see some of these companies right here. Let's bring it down here. So you can see what's encircled, the amount of money is being paid. You see the tree services, tens of thousands of dollars. You see this one right here, Raoul and Sons Landscaping. You can look at right here. Look how much money they're spending. That's a good grip right there. Seriously.
$169,950. That's crazy. That is crazy. The John J.C., welcome. Welcome. This man could win a staring contest with a statue. I haven't seen him blink once. Oh my God. Mara Gabriela, welcome. Not only that, John Q, but that's why that third Monday of the month meeting is so important. Yes, that third Monday is supposed to be where they say, hey, Miss Susie Q has a pipe burst. Okay, let's request quotes from the company 1, company 2, and company 3. So the first money they give the contract to the lowest and vote to pay the right bill. Vote to pay that bill right away and their salaries, etc. But Tiffany does not follow that. But I heard her coming at Riley for the exact same thing. It's insane. She knows what the process is. And yes, I heard that same thing too, Mara. And she knows what the process is, but she is in power. She is the Black woman who's in power. And she can do and reverse things and change things any which way she wants. And that becomes a dangerous aspect of her having that kind of power with that kind of budget and the money that she's spending.
Seriously. Let's keep moving. And then John's Pro Tree Service. That's another one right there. $155,000.
Look at this. We got $169,950 up top. Another tree service, a tree removal, for $155,000 flat. Flat. No change. Just a lot of zeros in the back. Flat. All without board approval. Now you know why they're screaming?
$1,000. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. You see another company right here, KNM Ventures, bunch of tree removal, tree trimming, tree cutting, whatever. See how much that is right there? $157,000. I should be a tree trimmer.
We should all be tree trimmers.
And then another one, Lopez Lawn Maintenance. There's another 10 racks right there. What's going on here? So when you go through this, the total amount spent on tree cutting, $573,000 for 1 month of services. Not one of these 7 companies has a contract with the village. This is a no-bid fraud scam started by Tiffany Henyard. They aren't even approved contractor list. They're not even on the approved contractor list. And you can find all those contractors at Village Hall.
That is crazy. Not one of the 7 companies has a contract with the village. They aren't even on the approved contractor list that you could find on all of the counters at Village Hall. Crazy. But this is what is happening. I'm not going to play the rest of the video. If you want to see it, definitely go to Hannibal is Hungry for the rest of the breakdown. He shows an actual board meeting where Tiffany Henyard tells them the correct way to do it when she was a trustee, only to find that she's contradicting herself in what she does. Absolutely crazy. But this is what you get. This is what you get. Riley named the community center after his daughter, Melanie. She had to do the ice rink and name it after her daughter. Trustees have YouTube. Well, she needs a YouTube. I hear you, Mara. Trees don't grow that fast. I hear you, Miss Justice. My brother had a tree smash. His backyard was dead and hollow inside. Smashed on the neighbor's classical Corvette. Oh, damn, a classical Corvette. It took forever to get someone to come out and cut it down, etc. This is nuts. Yeah. It only goes to show you the mindset again. The mindset of Tiffany Henyard, the mindset of Keith Freeman, the mindset of Andrew Holmes, the mindset of Stan Brown, the mindset of William Moore, the mindset, and I can keep going on and on, because these people not only operate in Dolton, they also operate in Thornton Township. Ooh, okay. My stomach is full. My plate is empty. I just wanted to go and just give you all a little follow-up to the 2 previous lives that I've done. I'm still digging at this. We haven't gone over any of the other stuff that I'm currently digging out for the next live, but I'm coming around the corner again. There was one thing I did want to mention. Yeah, definitely. Shout out to Cara Wilson, Alexis Wilson's mom, 19-year-old who lost her life to Dolton police. She was shot down, and for no apparent good reason, she was assaulted. Alexis Wilson was assaulted at a drive-through window, and the employees inside of the fast food restaurant called 911, told police she had a gun. They came with guns out. They tried to investigate the situation, and things got out of hand, and Alexis Wilson lost her life. Mother and her father, Alexis Wilson's mom and dad, have been fighting this case to try to get justice for Alexis Wilson. So yes, shout out to Cara Wilson and the family. Justice for Alexis Wilson, definitely. Definitely, she needs justice. Got some bad police trying to enforce the law. Serve and protect. No, not that way. Not that way. And how they're trained and what they're trained, they do not learn. Over and over, these stories come out. We never see police de-escalate. Even what's happening in at the colleges across the country regarding what's going on in the Middle East. They're out there on the college campuses protesting against the war. And who shows up? The police with barricades, paramilitary uniform and gears, along with automatic weapons for college kids. For college kids. Not to try to keep them straight and try to maintain. Let them protest. They have a right to. People are dying over there and losing their lives for no good reason. We know who they are. They're the Palestinian people over in the Gaza Strip. And the United States is aiding and abetting the Israeli government and supplying them with the ammunition and the bombs to do the damage. And what do? They send the police out, escalate, but to find reason all the time to get somebody to take them in and arrest them. It's crazy, but this is the world we live in. It's almost ass backwards. Not almost, take that away. It is ass backwards, but nonetheless, I wanted to make sure that I mention the Wilson family's story as a part of the Dolton Village story concerning Mayor Tiffany Henyard and Keith Freeman. This is all by the numbers, folks. And I hope I shared with you enough information shared by other content creators, along with my own, enough information so that you can see the corruption. And now, hopefully, it's being handled properly by the federal authorities that are now in the House and conducting their investigation. We'll see what the next step is. And I think that's what I wanted to wrap it up with. So with that said, we still got 22 people up in here. Humongous D, yes, both sides, billions to Iran. Oh yeah, that's crazy. Numbers and science don't lie, Miss Justice. That's right. Numbers and science don't lie. And the fact that all these people, their happy asses, just put everything in their own name like they didn't understand why. I like your comments, Mara. And for those of you still in the bushes, thank you so much for being with me tonight. Indigo Arena, thank you for being here. Marley 13, thank you for being here. DJ Dave, thank you for being here. But we still got a lot of work to do. Tiny T, thank you for jumping in here. John Luna from before, Blue Devil G. Much love to Gracie A. Let's see. Oh, Miss Lady Love was in here earlier. Mia Culpa was here. Thank y'all so much. Y'all hold me down. Y'all hold me down to help me to get my work done. So with that said, I'm going to wrap it up, and y'all be safe. Have a good weekend. Make sure you get out. If the weather's good, get out, grab the family, do something special, be something special, live something special. You know, tomorrow's not promised to any one of us. So we have to live each moment as if it's our last. We don't know. But I'll do the best I can on my side. You do the best you can on your side. Hopefully we'll come back shortly with another live, covering a little bit more of this story as it unfolds. I'm working on another story. I'm getting emails on that want coverage. I may include that in the next live. I'm not sure yet. I don't like to intermingle too many different stories. I like to get everything on the table so you can see it as plain as day. But much love to all of you. Don't know if anybody's on live with the continuing coverage of this, but I know the late night crew usually comes on at around this time. I know Shay was having Miss Mary talk about the event for tomorrow, Unity event. It's a rally, not a protest. That, well, you can go to my community board and take a look at it. It is tomorrow at 1 p.m. I spoke to Critical Smoker about it, and he's going to be out there. Hopefully, I may be on tomorrow night live, simulcasting his stream on my channel. We'll see how that works out, though. But nonetheless, be well and stay blessed. Miss Justice, thank you so much for your love and your moderation for tonight's live. And I will see you on the next live video. Take care, be well, stay blessed with Godspeed.